Hello you sexy beasts and welcome back to War Thunder. This is patch 1.67. It has just dropped today, and since there was no other dev server, I thought, hey, let's take some previous DD vehicles that I didn't cover during the, well, 5 videos in the day streak that I had when the first dev server came out, or well, the only dev server. And as you can see, this time around I did get my hands on the IS-6. The IS-6, as is no surprise to anyone, is a Soviet Tier 4 premium tank at battle rating 7.0, both in arcade mode and in tank realistic mode. The gun it features is the, well, same caliber as all the other IS series with the 122, however this is a D30T cannon, which is a slight upgrade in terms of reload speed. Besides the main gun, you also have a 7.62mm machine gun mounted coaxially and a 12.7mm machine gun mounted on top, which can be used against aircraft and lightly armored targets. Now the vertical guidance of this tank, of this gun actually, is horrendously bad, even for Russian standards. -3 degrees means that you cannot use this tank in any kind of hill situation. If you even so much as bump a rock, you won't be able to get your gun down anymore. I guess this can be in part explained due to the very flat profile of this tank. If you look at the top of the turret, generally this is where the space would be for the gun to go down. But as you can see, the turret is pretty much leveled with the gun, which makes this excellent actually at using hull down spots where you can only expose your turret, since, well, there isn't really much for them to shoot at except for the cupolas if you are getting your gun on target, but at the same time you pay for that with horrible gun depression. Now, what about the reloading rate? Well, contrary to the regular IS-7, which has a best case scenario, actually not IS-7, IS-2, I'm sorry, which is the best case scenario of 20.8 second reload, the IS-6 can go down to 15.8 seconds. The base reload speed of this is what the best reload speed of the IS-2 is. Now, this is still between a 15, almost 16 to 20 second reload, keep that in mind. It still is not a fast firing tank, but it does mean that you can take care of multiple enemies much better than you can with the previous IS series. So, what about the armor? Is this thing going to be a fearsome Russian bear? Well, not so much against Hesh. As you can see, the frontal plates are all 100mm, except for the driver's hatch, which is 110mm, and as such is actually immune to the new Hesh round from the RU-251, and of course the lower plate, which is actually surprisingly strong. Definitely do not shoot at the lower plate of this tank. Now, thanks to the rather steep sloping, this frontal plate has between 200 to 220mm of effective armor, as well as the side plates going upwards of 300. With the driver's hatch actually going up to 230, 240. Perfectly from the front, this thing is actually pretty well armored. Against anything that doesn't have APDS or HEATFS shells, or even Hesh shells, which at 7.0 most tanks sadly do. Now the gun mantle is a little bit misleading, and this is something I want you to keep in mind. It says it only has 150mm, but there's a hidden plate behind there that I cannot figure out how to actually visualize. No, I can't see it. But there is a plate behind that which will catch, which will actually act as space armor and will catch any kind of Hesh and HEATFS fragments. APDS probably will still go through, but HEATFS and Hesh shells might be caught by that plate. Also, something you have to keep in mind, this is a pretty small target. The cheeks immediately start at 250 to over 300, just don't even try to shoot at the cheeks here. Your best idea is to shoot through here, but again, there's an armored plate behind that. And this is a pretty small target. Now what about the side profile? The turret continues pretty well armored at 150mm, but, well, of course, much flatter. The sides get a little bit interesting. They still maintain the 100mm of armor that is prevalent around the front. Actually, this tank pretty much has 100mm of armor all around except for this very back plate. But it's a little bit less angled. It's about 45 degrees, this is about the angle that you expect from a T-34. Not the American one, the Russian medium. And as such it only gives you about 130, 140mm of effective armor. Not so good. Also, shooting here or shooting here is actually a very valid tactic, because unlike the previous ISs like the IS-3 or even the further T-10M, this tank does not have this trolley sloping going on inside of the hull, which means that you can perfectly shoot at the sides without having to fear any bounces. And finally, rear of the turret 100mm, rear of the back engine hatch about 100mm effective armor as well. Now looking at the X-ray, we can see the problem that is prevalent with most of the Soviet tanks at this battle rating. They are very, very cramped. As you can see, you only have 4 crew, which means that, well, if 2 of them dies, your loader dies, and you are looking at about 30-second, if not more, reload. The driver is right in the front. There's ammo everywhere. Literally everywhere. Before you take this thing out, I do suggest taking a look at the test drive and figure out how much ammo you have to take to remove at least the turret ammo, but let's be honest here, most people are going to shoot for your hull anyways and explode you. Now I'm guessing if you took a hit before, if you don't want to suffer any ammo wrecks, you could use the tank backwards. The turret is quite offset to the front, and you have this massive transmission engine and radiator array in the back. However, keep in mind, it will save you from 2-3 shots, but once you run out of fire prevention equipment, you burn to death. So that's a trade-off. Now, alternatively, you could actually use this tank pretty effectively as a reverse side scraping, as long as you don't expose this part, which even then is not that badly armored. So, I mean, 180 to 200 millimeters of armor is not bad. But if you use this thing as a reverse side scraper, having the pretty strong turret front and then having this plate here, angled like this, providing over 300mm of effective armor, which, okay, you will suffer from heat FS, but then again, you will always suffer from heat FS. Don't drive the tank expecting that you're going to bounce everything. You are going to bounce maybe solid AP shells, maybe APHE shells. You might absorb some HESH shells through the turret front, but heat FS and even the late tier APDS shells, they will probably eat straight through you. But enough rambling around, let's take this thing into battle. We're going to do both tank modes, so first we're going to try arcade mode, and then we're going to take tank realistic mode. I'm going to leave some timestamps in the description down below, in case you want to see only one of the 2 game modes. So, I'll see you then. Alright lads, we are on Mozdok in arcade mode, in our trusty IS-6. And yes, we do get radiator fans in the background spinning, which I find just absolutely awesome. Of course, it's just a novelty, very easy thing to do graphically wise, but it's a nice touch. It's a really nice touch. Although it can probably give you away, given that if you want to play that in realistic or sim mode, yeah, you probably can't. Now keep in mind this is arcade mode, but the tank feels pretty damn fast actually. The top speed is around 47 km per hour. And at least in arcade mode, there's a 1114 or something horsepower engine, so the power to weight ratio is there. Actually, before you get to the battle, let's just quickly check how fast is the reverse speed. And 18 km per hour, not the best around, definitely not comparable to the RE251, but for a heavy tank it is not too bad. Keep in mind, this thing is a heavy tank. Now the Soviets, how they built their heavy tanks is actually quite ingenious. Using thinner plates that are very angled results in effectively the same armor thickness as very heavily armored tanks, but at a fraction of the weight, which allows them to have massive mobility advantages. Now of course, that's exactly what HESH is built for. HESH just completely ignores the angling and goes for whatever armor thickness you have. Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, sneaky M4, don't you dare. Okay, we're on fire, hold on. Now that's sadly one of our things down, multiple of our tanks are on fire. That M41 has been pretty damn sneaky. Let's see if we can reload here. I wish to shoot the T-44 and I can, and it bounces off the side of the turret. What? Now one thing I forgot to mention is actually the shells. Sadly, this IS-6 does not get post-war heat, not post-war heat shell. Well, it doesn't get post-war heat shells as well, but it doesn't get post-war APHE shells, which is a massive problem. The best shell you have with this tank is a 207mm penetration shell, which means that you are going to have problems when you want to go up against, say, King Tigers, for example, at more than 500 meters. You will not be able to penetrate them. Alright, second try is a charm, and this time we actually go in. Sadly, didn't seem like the shell actually exploded inside the tank, or if it did, there was very little shrapnel. But as you can see, the reload is not half bad. I like this. 15-second reload, keep in mind. With a fully upgraded crew, of course. Side shot on the Ferdinand, doesn't take him out in one shot, cripples him mostly. That's the effect of the Ferdinand, having the driver and radio operator on the front of the tank, pretty spaced out from the main crew compartment, which allows it to survive these kinds of shots much better. But as you can see, we have problems with the gun depression, we cannot get our gun down. Shot through the side, goes right through the side armor, the Tiger P bounces off of us, that long 88 can do nothing against us. I have to say we have a pretty good matchmaking actually going on, given that we are a 7.0 tank. I am surprised that we didn't go right up to 8.0, where we would have faced stuff like HFS and ATGM tanks, especially the new Japanese ATGM tank. Can shoot him from here. There we go! Shot through the cover, right through the frontal armor. T-44-100 should not be able to pen us. He might be able to damage us though. He goes through the side and there we go, he's dead. Just in time as the Panther G is trying to get pop shots at us. But, oh, okay, we should... No, actually, no, hold on. Look at the mid-map, we have problems, we should probably fall back a little bit. We have some guy flanking from the right side, although it's only Tiger 1. Come on, little tiger. I feel kind of sorry for this guy. He doesn't really stand a chance against us, but say, oh, no, nope, never mind. See, here's the problem now. In any other tank I would probably be able to take this guy down, but we virtually have no gun depression. We virtually have absolutely no gun depression, which is a problem. And Panther G, goodbye. Panther D, actually, it is a Panther G. We are still getting slightly overrun. I'm afraid that this guy's coming to go from the back in a bit. Can't really do anything against that guy. Come on, angle the armor. Okay, and goodbye. Deleted. I have to say, I do like the 122mm gun just for its deletion factor. Keep in mind, this thing has like over 260 grams of TNT filler. It's a pretty good, effective one-shot machine. And I have no idea what this Panther G is trying. Oh, never mind. N26 came from the side, I didn't even see him. This is a problem. We can't really crest this hill with the IS-6, with the IS-2 on the side. Although I'm probably more afraid of the IS-2 than I am. Actually, no, I'm not. Oh, fuck. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Hello. Goodbye. Ah, too many tanks all at once. No chance. Unsurprisingly, we kind of lost that one. It's kind of what happens when your team just completely chooses to ignore the middle flag. Anyway, we are back in the IS-6 on realistic mode on Karelia, yes. Now let's see how this thing performs mobility-wise. This is pretty much the flattest stretch of ground we're going to get around here. Keep in mind this thing has a 47 km/h top speed, but I doubt it will reach that in any way but downhill, probably. Maybe some long, very paved roads, but there aren't too many of those around, especially in this map. We don't have exactly the best penetrating shell in the game. Around 207mm of penetration is all we get, pretty much. And it doesn't help that we don't have any gun depression to even use this gun properly. This spot is pretty much the best you can do, because, well, if you even drive a little bit forward, we are not going to be able to get a gun down anymore. That's how bad the gun depression of this thing really is. I really have to hammer this in. The gun depression of this thing is absolutely awful. 3 degrees downwards. I repeat that. 3 degrees of gun depression. It's not good, no. Right, here we can target to the front, and whatever this thing is. Get the gun down, and yeah, that was actually that went in, but was absorbed mostly. Poor Tiger 2 thinks he can actually penetrate us from the front. We have to keep an eye though. This is a slight up tier, I think. I'm not sure about the battle rate of the SU-100Y and stuff like that, but it does seem like this is a slight up tier, so we might face some APDS shells. Now, goodbye. I have to say, the explosive filler of this tank is really awesome. 272 grams of explosive filler of TNT. It's nice. Fuck it, let's try it out. Bounce, bounce, please bounce. Yes, he bounced. Okay, you are about to die now. And we bounced. What is that tank? Oh shit. Actually, let's drive forward a little bit. There's tanks shooting us from the front, but I don't want to get shot in the side. Can you stop firing your MGs? I can see you. There we go. Hello. Oh, he actually went through us. Oh, that's interesting. I did not expect him to actually be able to go through the front of our turret. This is something you have to keep in mind. I'm not sure if he's fighting a PDS or something, but he definitely went through us quite handily. Driver only. Shell didn't quite seem to go through there. Problem is now our... Nice! So, what are my final thoughts on the IS-6? Overall, it's not a bad tank by any means. The upgraded reload over the IS-2 is definitely a welcome change, and of course, they still remain that awesome one-shot potential of this 122mm gun. Now, the armor is by no means bad. Keep in mind, 300, 200mm, over 220mm effective armor over here. The hidden plate behind the gun metal, which will absorb hash fragments and maybe some heat shells. Overall, you can still get penetrated a lot, especially since this thing is a 7.0 tank. You are going to face tanks with heat hash shells, which will absolutely rip through you, and even hash shells to the hull will absolutely rip through you as well. The machine gun is a nice addition. It allows you to shoot at the aircraft and shoot at lightly armored tanks, but of course, it's not going to be a main concern. I'm a bit let down by the ammo selection of this thing. Having only the 207mm penetration shell is quite bad and means that you cannot penetrate King Tiger's turret fronts, for example, at over 500 meters distance. And in general, you might have some problems with penetrating other heavy tanks with this shell, so keep that in mind. Now the final question is then, is it worth buying the IS-6? Now, compared to other premium tanks of other nations, like for example the newly added RU-251 or even the German diesel Tiger, I would have to be inclined to say no. These tanks are overall better than the IS-6 is. However, the main factor with the IS-6 is that the Soviets don't really get any particularly great premium tanks if you look at it. You have the KV-122, which is... yeah. You have the T-44-122, which is even more The guns are just... you can see kind of the pattern with the 122mm guns, which are just very slow. T-44-85 is not bad, but a 5.7 out can face King Tigers, which is not ideal for this tank. T-44-100 can be good, but it's kind of sluggish. SU-122P, why would you even try to play this thing? IS-2 Revenge is pretty much just an IS-2 mod 1944, not the best tank around. Type 62, can be good. I personally don't like the turret rotation speed of this thing. Gun handling is quite awful, but it's a decent tank against CTFS. So you don't really have many great choices for premium tanks in the Soviet tech tree. So this thing actually, compared to everything else, this thing does look pretty good. Now of course, if it's absolutely worth it is not my decision to make, that's your decision on what you can afford. Probably, if you cannot afford much, I would probably just put a talisman on stuff like the T-44-100, for example, which is the same battle rating but effectively a better gun. But if you want to bundle and you want some GE and some premium time, well, the IS-6 is definitely an option. Not the best option, but it is an option. Well, this has been the gameplay of the IS-6. We're going to see if we can do another one today. Probably going to take a look at the American Premium T-14. I think it's American at least. Yes it is. T-14 Tier 2 tank at battle rating 4.3. Ooh, that's pretty high. So we're going to take a look at that one next, and yeah, I'll see you then. By the way, there's not going to be a stream tomorrow. I'm sorry, I will not be able to make a stream on Friday because I'm going to be hungover. There's a party tonight. So keep an eye out on Twitter for updates on when the stream actually happens. So far, I'm owing you guys 2 streams. Anyways, lads, this has been it for this video. Like this video if you did, subscribe if you're around here, and as always, my name is MikeGoesBoom, and thank you for watching.
You can lift your head up to the sky, take a deeper breath and give it time. You can walk the path among the lines with your shattered frame of mind. Or instead you could always stay. We can wait right here and play until somehow you can